Hello guys, this is Avcoor, and we're going to look at the band pick tier list for the championship finals. This guy won the championship, and he looked at some of the matches, and his observations were as such. This is the recorded list of people that got banned and people who didn't get banned, and so we get to look inside the overall minds of these players, these championship level players, and who they pick and who they didn't pick. And it's really weird. Even the guy who won is kind of shocked at what happened here. And I'm shocked too. So let's start with won't get banned. This is important now. This won't get banned is actually important because these characters were actually used in boxes. So we look at a 15-person team where these guys had characters in their box. So these characters were actually used, and these guys didn't get banned. And I'm looking right at you, Silva. Silva's potency has dropped, and it's scary that the new characters that have come out have reduced her overall potential as a bow unit because you'll see that this tier list is done by classes. So when you look at won't get banned, these guys did not get banned, but they're in their own section. So I'm kind of scared for the meta. The fact that she's this low scares me. Another weird occurrence to me is this guy, Kabir. Kabir actually is a usable character, and when you think about it, there's a couple of reasons why Kabir is a usable character. Not the best, not the best. I'm not saying this guy is super good. I'm just saying he's passable. The reason why this guy is passable is because he has one of the highest HP stats in the game, bar none. For such a scrawny little guy, he takes a lot of punishment. And when we go to the next level, you'll realize this bad pick system is rough. Like, certain characters get banned all the time, and this guy is not one of them. His other counterpart gets banned way more than him. So people who want to supplement that character actually use this character, and it shows. Sighart does not shock me. He has single target potential. This is a rush character. This character is a warrior. Excuse me. And this goes to show you how strong warriors are. Even like the worst PvP versions of these characters are still usable because warriors get so many buffs and so many bonuses that you'll see a lot of warriors on this tier list, and it's just crap. It just shows you how broken this class is. And you'll also see a lot of wizards. The reason why you'll see a lot of wizards is because you see a lot of warriors. And warriors have low magic defense compared to wizards. So two of these guys carry leadership skills, and Nola and Lena. So that's why I think their overall usability, even though it won't get banned, they were still used, is because if you're gonna put a won't get banned unit in there, either they're gonna be a tank, it's gonna be a warrior, and they're gonna carry a leadership skill. One, two, three, four, and five. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And out of those 11 units, 5 of them carry leadership skills. And Sylvanath is interesting to me as she had a lot of potency, but she just like flamed out really, really quick. This guy does not shock me as this character, and this character are rush characters. So if you wanted to do a rush box, that would be easy to do. This shocked me. When we go to T3, this shocked me. Why am I shocked? Avcoor, why are you shocked? This is why I'm shocked. This is why I'm shocked. This is why I'm shocked right here. But that, really? She is that good? I use Ballet all the time as a tank, and I'll tell you why she's good. She has serviceable defense and HP stats. Her magic defense is trash, but she comes with one of the best passives in the game. And tanks are highly valued in this meta as we have a lot of single target threats. And the thing about Belek that's really good is she's easy to build. Not only that, her unique weapon allows her to sponge off debuffs. So this whole package makes her solid. She's not like super good, but for one of the MC characters to be this high speaks volumes. This character did not get banned, and that scares me. Valek is actually really good. This is like these two are like the biggest, like, what the F? This is like what the F1, and this is what the F2 times 1,000. Valek is one of the best healers in the game, but data shows that she was not banned as much as other characters. When you look at the other healers, they are extraordinary, but I think Valek, in my personal opinion, should be up there. But there are reasons why she's not as good as the green, the blue, and the light healers. There's reasons, and we'll go into that as we go up. The fact that Alicia still holds her own is really cool. The fact that this is an old character and she had a gimmick, but that gimmick keeps perpetuating itself as we get into a meta that is debuff heavy. So for her to stand the test of time is really amazing to me. I, I really like the character, and I'm so happy that she made T3. It's not the best place to be, but considering how bad she aged, how she went up and down, this is really good. This shocked me too. Not as much because there are better warriors than Jin. It's not that he's bad, it's just there's better warriors than Jin, and that's why he's so low. He's got a lot of competition these days, and it's only going to get worse when you put Morgan Le Fay in, and as well as Delilah. It's only going to get worse for him. But I think I this is my opinion. I don't think he'll go into won't get banned. That's just my opinion. I don't know, but him being at T3 surprises me just a tad. But when you consider the warriors this dude is going up against, it's hard to justify someone not banning them over him. It wouldn't make sense. Marguerite's in the place where I thought she should be, and depending on your composition, she can go up or down. So this fluctuates. T2 between T2 and T3 is where I think she belongs. So some of this is making sense, some of this is not making sense. These two were shockers to me. I was just so shocked when I saw this. The rest of this makes sense, but these are real big shockers to me. So we get into T2, and in T2, we still have some shockers. Not too shocking, but shocking nonetheless. This is the one that shocks me the most. Clarice has stood the test of time. She is in won't get banned. Then she moves to T3. Then she moves to T2. And it's really weird. But remember, as we do this, we're doing it by class. Like when we get to the top, we're doing it by class. By no means is Clarice Coil's equal, nor is she Erica's equal, nor is she Charlotte's equal. She is not their equals. But in Ranger, if they're when the ban pick comes for Rangers, she gets banned more often than other rangers. And she also gets banned more than the rest of the characters below her. So think of that. But I understand to a degree why she would be banned because she is a strong rush unit. If you put her, him, her together, you do have a strong rush team. I've seen this team used a lot in many videos. There was this one YouTuber who used this all the time to exquisite perfection. So from my perspective, I understand that Clarice can lead a strong rush. So this doesn't shock me too much. This is an outliner to me, as I feel that uh, people just didn't build him. But there are two tanks that stand, no, three tanks that stand above him, and I can understand why that is. I understand a little bit why this is because there's two healers that are utterly broken right now, but Clefairy is yet still a threat. But she's like generation one, so she's a very old unit. And for these characters to still be relevant and still be like generation one units, they're like really old. She's These are like starter units. She's a starter unit. Catherine's a starter unit. Belek is definitely a starter unit. 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 That's not bad. That's not bad. But they're slowly getting outclassed. Coil is still a threat, but they put him down here only because he's ranked amongst archers. I think he's a little higher, but he didn't get banned as much as the characters above him. And there's reasons for that. Coil's still good, but there's some characters that are just out of this world right now. Seminar constantly fluctuates, so this is not a big surprise. One day she'll be T1 and another day she'll be T3, so this does not shock me. Catherine will always go up or down depending on the meta. It's just because of Lancelot, she's lost some steam. Susan and Catherine have been utterly plagued by the rise of Lancelot. She just punches holes in teams. And because Dark is weak to light, and since Dark also doesn't have super effective damage, I consider it to be the weakest of the five elements. People might laugh at me for that, but when you think about it, you're weak versus one element and you're not strong versus any element, as opposed to light, who is weak versus none, strong versus none, so they're basically clear. I take light over dark any day. Going to Yig giving move is just great. Just take away everything else. Just the fact that she can increase move just opens up so many strategies and increases threat range. So when you look at that, yeah, she's very deadly. T1, look at this. So the reason why these guys are ranked so high is because this character actually attacks twice and she's an archer. A ranged unit, she's basically a ranged unit with Gale Force, and that's stupid. She basically does what this character does, but at range. Not as frequent, but still frequent enough that it is very lethal. And her range is ungodly with Eagle Eye. Absolutely broken character. Both of the summer characters were absolutely broken. And they kind of broke the meta a little bit for me. Like, if you see Krill in battle, if you fight against Krill, you understand her potency and why she is so utterly broken. I just don't like whenever you make a ranged character that can act twice, they're always gonna be considered really good. It's like Catherine, she produces minions, Coil produces minions, and that puts them at the top of the food chain on some level. Even though you see them at T2, just know that there's very few characters above them, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason that Krill's so high is because range units that attack twice are just simply broken, and their damage output is massive. So yeah, she deserves to be here. Gabriel's my favorite tank in the game, for better or worse. There's two tanks that I really like, and both of them are ranked extremely high. So it goes to show you that I really understand tanks and how they work. And we look at Gabriel. Gabriel's gonna is the standard of what a tank should do, how a tank should function, and why a tank is good. Simply put, she can take damage, she can respond well, and she has a little versatility, but not enough versatility that would take away from her original said purpose. She does a little bit of offense. She clears buffs, one of the best aspects outside of her defensive set. She has enormous magic defense. Her physical defense is not that great by tank standards, but it's offset by a magical defense that surpasses even wizards, and that gives her mixed tanking ability, and that's something that a lot of tanks lack. There's one tank above her whose physical defense is so high, who and their HP stat is so high that you could really just focus on magic defense, and you can just totally ignore defense. That's a really big exception. So hats off to this character. I really like her. So I'm very satisfied that she is ranked so high. I use her in PvP, and I used her when she wasn't popular. So this is good for me. So now we're looking at the best of the best, and it shocks no one that these six are ranked so high because they're utterly broken. And we'll look at them as a whole, and we're going to look at all these characters and draw some conclusions. So, tanks. There's a reason why Arena is ranked so high. Even the author of this page kind of questions it, but there's some things to consider. Arena has a lot of versatility. Is the thing that really separates her from other tanks is the fact that she can knock back units and break their positioning. This is extremely important, especially for PvP, because you create openings and opportunities that did not exist. So consider that, and consider the fact that she carries a leadership skill. Consider the fact that she is a strong mixed tank. Consider the fact that she's only weak versus one element, and that's light. And if you bad pick properly, she has no weakness. So one of the best characters in the game is Lancelot, and she gets banned a lot, so you don't see her. One of the second best light characters in the game is Gabriel, and she gets banned a lot. Two of the best characters in the game for light is Kafir, a character that does not attack, and Erica. And if you ban Erica, Gabriel, and Lancelot, then your only threat is Margaret, and your passive actually reduces the magic damage that you take. So skillful ban pick actually makes her stronger. But if you ban pick wrong and you get Lancelot, which should never happen, she's dead. But if you pick her, then you will always ban Lancelot. Catch is the strongest character from starter. There's a reason for that. The reason is her defense is absolutely enormous. This little girl, these two guys don't look like they should be like tough or resilient, but she possesses a defense that is absolutely insane. I don't know what the devs were thinking. There's a couple of reasons why she sits so high, and one day maybe Arena will overtake her or she'll overtake Arena, but it's hard to not catch off of her throne as one of the best tanks in the game for PvP because she takes away guard. You cannot escort around her, and that creates so many openings for so many single target units like Coil, Seminar, Krill, Lancelot, who else? Charlotte, Clarice, even Yig and Margaret and Susan and Catherine appreciate what Catch can do for their team. And the fact that she actually lowers defense as well. She has a basic kit, but it does what you need it to do. And you need her to do a couple of things. Tank for your team, soak up some of these heavy hitters. We're looking at you. This is one of the biggest answers to this character. These two characters are the biggest answers to this character. And we kind of need to check this character. We actually need to check Lancelot, and Catch can do that because she's reducing movement, she's reducing defense, she's taking hits, and that's all you really need her to do, and she does it well. Um, Very exceptional character. She kind of surprised me in how good she was, but she is just that good. So we're looking at a healer that when you first look at her, you're like, eh. And then when you start using her, you're like, oh, this is why she's good. A healer that can move literally anywhere is just that, a healer that can move anywhere. Hazel possesses the highest movement for any healer in the game. She can Her passive allows her to move when you have a character at a lower HP. This is amazing. She gathers units together away from this character so you can reorganize and reset your strategy because she blows up strategies, and she gives you a reset button. She's a great healer and she's a great buffer, and her buffs are very potent for PvP. This is why she actually sits on the throne of great healers. It's not that she's bad. It's not that Valek's bad. It's just that characters like these two exist, and you really want to pull them away from their area of influence, and Hazel does that. This is what we call a power healer, a healer that is overwhelmingly powerful in the fact that she can just deal out healing. So healing runes, healing staff, 2 extra lives, and you remove debuffs. Avia the Sea is part of the summer package that kind of broke the meta, and there's a lot to say about her, but it's already been said. If you look at every team, every team had this character, every team, and and what scares me is the fact that they were at rank 9. People spent money for this character, and she was worth every bit of it because she got a lot of people to top rank in PvP because if you can die and come back and heal, you're amazing. This character is so busted. A 2 life healer, I don't know what the devs were thinking. They were just grabbing for money, man, because that is busted. This character is busted. So busted that I know I don't take this game super seriously because I'm not building her. Electo Fire Dragon has been an annoyance to every person who plays PvP. If you play arena mode and you see this character, you automatically do not fight because she actually has 2 AoEs, one that you start off with and one that you finish up with, and she bathes the field in burning tile. And on this burning tile, you take fixed damage. If you're near, you take fixed damage, and after she does damage, you take fixed damage. They actually had to create characters like Hazel in order to weaken Fire Dragon, but it hasn't really done anything. And she's a warrior, so she benefits from all the warrior buffs that warriors get, and she benefits from all the stat buffs that warriors get. So it's even worse because for the most part, she's an AoE attacker, but when you get next to her, she hits like Sighart, and that is freaking scary. So Lancelot broke the meta, and it further got broken by other characters, but Lancelot was the one that really started cracking the meta right after Fire Dragon. Lancelot is the type of character that doesn't do everything that you would want a warrior to do, but she does everything you need a warrior to do in PvP. Warriors in PvP do a couple of things. First of all, they hit super hard. They actually recover HP and they pressure opponents. As a warrior, you're asking as a warrior, you're asking for massive levels of attack, massive levels of HP, and some way to increase mobility. Fire Dragon does that by actually having an AoE that allows her to push into the enemy territory. This chick gets mobility from her passive that allows her for one extra movement. And when you realize how strong a light warrior is, the fact that you have a warrior that deals unresisted damage consistently, the threat level of Lancelot is actually higher. So when we look at T0, this is very, very, very accurate. From a person that plays PvP and loses at PvP, this is extremely accurate. This stuff is weird to me, but extremely accurate. So now we're looking at classes, and you realize out of classes, Dark actually produces the best wizards, and that's no shocker. If you look at my videos, you'll realize that even I acknowledge the fact that Dark produces the best wizards because most of the units you face are not light characters, especially in PvE content. They're not light, so this is fine. Even in PvP, you can ban pick her and her out, and you're good. Um, and Yig makes sense. And the overall assessment of wizards is you have to do more than just magic attack, and all four of these do more than just magic attack. Like all she does is magic attack, all he does is magic attack, and for the most part, all she does is magic attack as well. These are one-dimensional wizards. They don't they don't stand out. The only reason these two stand out is because they have leadership skills. But wizards by and by are very weak in PvP. And this tier list shows that none of them crack T1 period. And the same goes for Rangers. Rangers are extremely weak in PvP, and that's no shocker. The thing about it is they just don't deal as much damage and have as much options as warriors and tanks and healers. They were gimped from the beginning, and that remains the case because like with Rangers, they're supposed to do a couple of things. They're supposed to reach the enemy and they're supposed to kill an enemy. And the HP stats of warriors are so high, the HP stats of tanks are so high that you can't one shot a a tank or a warrior in this game, and that takes a lot away from ranger characters because rangers cannot take damage. They have they have solid defensive stats, but nowhere near the level of warriors and tanks. And they don't have damage mitigation abilities, and they don't have ways to recover HP. So they are totally gimped. Archers are not so much gimped as like the devs actually create archers that are extremely good to compensate for the class that is extremely weak. Like, when, what do I mean when I say this? All these characters have things that are good about them that don't really connect to them being archers. Quill has a pet. These two characters get obscene levels of range that these two characters don't get. And a lot of them have AoEs, a lot of them have single targets, and a lot of them have ways to increase their damage. But all of them, all four of these characters rely on their unique weapons to be good. Like even Krill, if she does not have her unique weapon, she is lacking to an extent. And if you play these characters, you really, really, really need their unique weapon to shine. Especially her. Without her unique weapon, she's garbage. Cole, without his unique weapon, he's above average. But with his weapon, he's S tier. Same with Silva, and she's fallen off a bit. and Rick. So the archers are good, but the class sucks. If you get what I'm saying. Warriors are the best class in the game. Notice that one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Look how they're proportioned. There's eight of each of them, but look how they're proportioned. And then you understand that warriors are the best class in the game. They just have higher defense and attack mods, and they attack frequently, and they do massive levels of damage. Even these characters here and below, they do massive level of damage. A lot of them come with leadership skills, like one, two, three, four, five. Five of them have leadership skills, and like one, two, three, four. Only four of them have leadership skills. Warriors get the best of everything. So yeah, this does not shock me. It should shock no one. Warriors are so broken. Healers are really broken too. Notice that there's no healer and won't get banned. You're gonna ban a healer if you can. So these characters are super potent. And honestly, they don't need their unique weapons to be potent, but their unique weapons make them better. But they have healing and stat modification. They buff, they heal, they support. They're just doing more for the team as a whole. Like wizards do not heal as a whole. I mean, there's Nicholas, but he's not really a healer. Margaret, she's not really a healer either. As say for Morgan, there's really no healers amongst the wizards. The best of them buff, but most of them don't. And if they do have a buff, it's very limited. Like healers could carry the buffs, they carry the supports, they carry the heals, and they carry some form of utility that increases their healing and their potency. Heck, she blocks unhealable status effects when she gets her unique weapon. This chick actually heals you before you attack. She heals you after you take an attack. She heals you during an attack. She actually has supplemental healing. It's just there's just so much they're doing for the team. It's absolutely insane. And of course, tanks are like meta, and they always will be. And they keep producing really good tanks because the devs really know how to make great tanks for this game. So when you look at tanks, healers, warriors, it's in line with what I've been saying for months now that these are the three best classes in the game. And this absolutely proves it. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, T0 warriors, healers, and tanks. Come on, dude. This is obvious. This is so obvious. Oh my gosh. So when you listen to your boy Avcoor, understand this comes from a place of pure, pure experience. And I keep getting validated by other people in the community because that's insane. So everybody banned these characters, warriors, tanks, and healers. But anyway, let's finish off with hearing the guy's thoughts about this. So, like you said, at the end of the game, he was lucky enough to win the championship. The following is a rough statistics of the band pick rating of the entire playoffs for reference. The overall band pick rate, basically, as everyone thinks, tank, healer, warrior, of course. Tank and healer would be banned the most because they're the cornerstones of teams. Mage, not so much because you really don't need magic attack. Ranger, not so much because they're limited. Archer, not so much. Three best classes in the game. Some more prominent roles are Dark Tank. The previously subjective rhythm T2 tank has a surprisingly high appearance rate in the playoffs. It has a good ability to create opportunities, but it also has some obvious shortcomings because they're dark. Not sure why it's so popular. Yeah, I know like this guy's way out of my league when it comes to PvP, but I feel that Arena is a really good tank. So Fire Dragon, the character who gets the first PP data in the whole game, it's really a character you can use if you're not banned. So yeah, you can always depend on her to carry a game for you. She's utterly broken. These two characters are utterly busted. So after Catherine, the mage with the highest ban rate, the mage with the lowest subjective rhythm, the actual data shows that the ban rate is very high. but the actual pick rate is lower than that of the green dragon or even light mage. I think this is for the simple fact that her her team leadership skill, because one, two, three, or one, two, three. There's there's ways that if you structure a team, she could be really annoying. So yeah, I can understand that. But I'm so glad that twins were a threat amongst the wizards. I wish he would have talked about the healers more. Characters I thought had some PvP potential before. Water spurs, fire bows, mirrors didn't even appear in all the playoff boxes. Miserable. It means that they may not be qualified as targeted roles. Yeah, he's talking about fire bow. This is always fire bow. Water spurs. Talking about this. Yeah, talking about this guy. Is that what he's talking about? Fire spurs? I don't know. I don't know if that's what he's talking about. Mirrors. I don't know. This may be mirrors. I don't know. The translation's a little off. But yeah, guys, there's some takeaways to take away from this. Warrior, healer, tank are just the best classes for PvP. And following that is archer because they just produce really strong characters in the archer class. Not the class itself, but they just made broken characters. I mean, Coil having a pet, she has a team leadership skill that gives you fixed damage. This character can actually outrange pretty much everybody, and this character outranges people, and she has multiple attacks. I mean, their strengths have nothing to do with the class themselves, but them as characters. So this is very accurate. But anyways, guys, if you like my content, hit the like, share, subscribe button. I'll get back to you. Have a great day, and goodbye.